the first day of Christmas my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree.
It was 9 o'clock in the morning, and although it was Christmas Day, the Lord Chamberlain was already seated at his desk. Now the Lord Chamberlain was rather deaf, and didn't hear the door opening, but he leapt quickly to his feet and bowed when he saw the King entering the room.
"No time for that!"
cried the King.
"It's Christmas Day, and I must buy a present for the Queen."
"A pheasant for the Dean?" said the astonished Lord Chamberlain. "Why can't he have a turkey like the rest of us?"
No, laughed the King. "I need a present for the Queen," he shouted.
"Ah," smiled the Lord Chamberlain. "I'll speak to the royal jewellers right away. Perhaps a necklace or a diamond ring."
"No good," said the King. "Something like that would have to be made, and I need it now."
"Wait a minute, though. You've given me an idea. Maybe I will buy her a pheasant. Only the other day I heard her telling her ladies-in-waiting that she would like a pet bird.
Come on, Lord Chamberlain. Let's go to the marketplace and buy one."
"But you can't go yourself," cried the Lord Chamberlain. "Let me send a footman." But the King was already on his way. Servants scuttled out of sight, and the guards jumped to attention as the King strode along the palace corridors with the elderly Lord Chamberlain puffing along behind. But when they arrived at the marketplace, there wasn't a pheasant to be found anywhere.
"Now, what am I to do?"
sighed the King. "I'm sorry, Your Majesty," said the stall-holder, "but this little partridge is all I have left."
"I'll take it," cried the King. "After all, a partridge is very similar to a pheasant."
And tucking the partridge under his arm, the King set off back to the palace. In the palace gardens, there were rows of small fruit trees in tubs, and as the King walked past, the partridge flew up into one of the trees. The King tried to pull the bird from the branch, but the partridge held on tightly. "Oh, well," sighed the King, "I suppose there's nothing else for it. I shall just have to take the tree as well." The Queen was sitting in her throne room when the King staggered in with his gift. She jumped to her feet and clapped her hands with delight. "I've always wanted a pet bird, and a partridge in a pear tree is such fun."
On the second day of Christmas my true love gave to me 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree.
The next morning, the Lord Chamberlain had just started work when the King came striding in.
"Lord Chamberlain," he cried, "I need your help again. It's the second day of Christmas, and I must get another present for the Queen. I thought that today I might buy her a pair of turtle doves."
"Pair of purple gloves?"
laughed the Lord Chamberlain. "Oh, dearie me, somehow I cannot picture the Queen wearing those. If you don't mind me saying so, Your Majesty, I'm sure she would look better in gloves made of silver lace, perhaps embroidered with little pearls." "Not purple gloves, Lord Chamberlain," laughed the King. "Turtle doves! 2 turtle doves. I'm sure that nice man who sold us the partridge yesterday will be able to help. Come along, Lord Chamberlain."
Well, the nice man in the market was able to help, and the King returned to the palace with 2 fine turtle doves in a golden cage.
"Turtle doves for my lady love,"
he cried, and he handed them to the Queen. The Queen seemed delighted with the gift, but later when the King had left, she whispered to her ladies-in-waiting, "What a dear man my husband is, but to be quite truthful, I would have preferred some gloves. I saw a lovely purple pair in the market only yesterday."
On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
On the third day of Christmas, the Lord Chamberlain hadn't even sat down when the King arrived.
"Good morning, Your Majesty," he said. "Are we off to market again this morning?"
"We certainly are," replied the King. "We're going to see the nice man who sells the birds again. And guess what I've decided to buy for the Queen today? 3 French hens." "3 felt pens?" said the Lord Chamberlain. "I've never heard of them. My wife once gave me a fine pair of grey felt slippers." He looked puzzled. "But I don't see how you could make pens out of felt. They'd be all bendy, and the ink would soak into them. Silly idea, if you ask me."
The King was rocking with laughter. "French hens!" he gasped. "Not felt pens! 3 French hens are what we're going to buy today, Lord Chamberlain."
The market man was pleased to see them. "Yes, I do have some French hens," he said. "My brother took some Welsh rabbits over to France, and he brought some French hens back with him in the boat." The Queen was thrilled.
"How wonderful!" she cried. "Being French hens, no doubt they will lay French eggs.
"And Monsieur de Sancerre, the palace chef, will be delighted."
On the 4th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 collie birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
The next morning, the Lord Chamberlain didn't even bother to go into his office. He sat himself down on a bench outside in the corridor. "The King is bound to arrive in a minute," he said to himself. And sure enough, a couple of minutes later, along came the King, in a hurry as usual.
"Ah, good!"
cried the King. "Nice to see you ready and waiting." "I suppose we're off to the market again," said the Lord Chamberlain.
"How on earth did you guess?" cried the King. "What a clever man you are! We're going to buy 4 collie birds for the Queen."
When they reached the market, the King turned to Lord Chamberlain. But the Lord Chamberlain wasn't there. He was standing at the vegetable stall. The King watched in amazement as the Lord Chamberlain came hurrying towards him, carrying 2 large cauliflowers under each arm. "Here we are, Your Majesty," he cried. 4 cauliflowers for the Queen."
"I wanted 4 collie birds," laughed the King, "not cauliflowers." "Never mind," said the King. "We'll buy the collie birds for the Queen now. I'm sure they'll find a use for the cauliflowers in the palace kitchen. It's a good job you didn't get collie wobbles. Goodness knows what we would have done with those."
On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 gold rings, 4 collie birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
On the 5th day of Christmas, the Lord Chamberlain was still at his home finishing his breakfast when the royal footman arrived. "I bring a message from the King," he said. "The royal tailor has arrived to measure him for a new coat, and so he would like you to get 5 gold rings for him to give to the Queen." When the footman had gone, the puzzled Lord Chamberlain scratched his head. 5 old things?" he muttered. "What a strange present to give to the Queen. They don't sell old things in the marketplace, so I'll just have to see what I can find here." He hunted around the room and eventually managed to come up with a bent candlestick, a broken knife, a battered old hat that had lost its feather, a moth-eaten velvet purse, and an old quill pen with a broken nib. At that moment his wife came in, and the Lord Chamberlain proudly showed her the things he had collected. "You silly man," she cried. "The footman said the king wanted 5 gold rings, not 5 old things." Well, the poor Lord Chamberlain had to rush to the royal jeweller's to buy 5 gold rings. The Queen was thrilled, and the Lord Chamberlain breathed a sigh of relief.
On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 6 geese a-laying, 5 gold rings, 4 collie birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
On the 6th day of Christmas, the Lord Chamberlain got up bright and early. "It's a lot colder today, dear," said his wife. "I do believe it's going to snow. You'd better wrap up warmly if you're going out." Muttered the Lord Chamberlain. "No doubt the king will want to go to the market again, so I'll take your advice, my dear." He put on his thick red robe, trimmed with ermine, and his fur-lined boots. As he walked across the courtyard, he saw the king coming towards him.
"Glad to see you're wrapped up nice and warm, Lord Chamberlain,"
said the king.
"We're off to the market to buy 6 geese a-laying."
6 keys, you're saying?" said the Lord Chamberlain. "There's no need to go to the market for those. I've got plenty here." And he held up a heavy bunch of keys hanging from his belt.
"I don't want your keys, Lord Chamberlain," laughed the king. "I want 6 geese a-laying for the Queen. She's very pleased with the 3 French hens I bought, but the eggs they lay are very small. Now goose eggs are much bigger, so that's what I'm buying her today. We'll take the royal coach to put them in." On their way back through the village, the people stopped work to wave to the king. What a surprise they had, for staring out of the windows of the coach were 6 large geese.
On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 7 swans a-swimming, 6 geese a-laying, 5 gold rings, 4 collie birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
"It's the 7th day of Christmas," said the king, "and I'm going to buy the Queen 7 swans a-swimming. They'll look nice on the moat." "What did you say?" cried the Lord Chamberlain. "Mice in my coat! Oh, mice! Out, out!" he shouted, jumping up and down and shaking his robe from side to side.
When the king had stopped laughing, the 2 of them went off to buy the swans.
On their return, they put the swans among the rushes at the edge of the moat.
"You stay there," said the king, "whilst I run to the throne room and make sure the Queen is watching. When you see me at the window, you make a noise to frighten them, and the swans will swim out to the middle of the moat and surprise her."
Well, when the Lord Chamberlain saw the king at the window, he shouted and waved his arms. But, oh dear, he got a little too close to the edge, and with a loud splash, he tumbled headfirst into the water. "Oh, how pretty!" cried the Queen as she watched the 7 beautiful swans swimming gracefully along the moat. "But what on earth is that ungainly big black bird flapping along behind them?"
"Oh, my goodness!" cried the king. "That's not a bird, that's the Lord Chamberlain, and I must go and rescue him."